सर वीसी इकोसिस्टम में कुछ एक दो प्रॉब्लम्स की बात कर, जब स्टार्टअप पिचेस की बात होती है एंड व्हेन वी मीट फाउंडर्स और वी रीड ऑन ट्विटर, तो काफ़ी थ्रेड्स आती हैं अबाउट कंपैरिजन ऑफ इंडियन वीसीज विद यूएस वीसीज. उसमें वन ऑफ द थिंग्स इज कि रिस्पॉन्स नहीं आता. इफ इट्स अ नो तो वो नो नहीं बोला जाता. क्या आपको ऐसा लगता है कि ऐसी प्रॉब्लम है?
नहीं, आई एम श्योर होगी. आई थिंक मुझे लग रहा है, आई मीन कल्चरली आई थिंक मे बी US VCs probably take more effort to respond no. So to that extent, it is probably true. But I think at the same time, founders should sort of know how to deal with it. Because I think there are some statistics that show to raise a Series A round, you have to talk to 30 to 50 investors. So usme se maybe 90% are not interested. But will you get a response from 90%? Maybe 70% of those 90% will tell you. But you need to keep moving on, right? So I think that's fine. But I don't see why it should stall a founder's efforts, or maybe they need plan B, figure out, raise from somebody else or pivot or whatever it is, right? There is an internal round. So, I mean, it is what it is. We are also comparing, Indian VCs are giving US valuations for a time which is much smaller. Right? We are guilty of that. Our times are not going to be in the hundreds of billions of dollars for most things, or tens of billions. Right? But we give the valuation. So you enjoy that also, right? It's the flip side.
ठीक है. दूसरा क्रिटिसिज्म आता है सर कि जब पिच करते हैं वीसीज को, तो द फर्स्ट पॉइंट ऑफ कॉन्टैक्ट इज जनरली एन एनालिस्ट. तो बहुत सारे मैंने ये थ्रेड्स पढ़े हैं और जितनी मेरी बात भी होती है फाउंडर से, कि ये एक फीलिंग आती है कि दे आर नॉट द राइट पर्सन टू जज, कि हम कुछ बता रहे हैं एंड इज ही द राइट पर्सन टू जज, एंड ही इज़ द फर्स्ट लेयर बिटवीन यू एंड द फाउंडर. तो अगर वहाँ पे ही देयर आर सो मेनी थ्रेड्स ऑन ट्विटर, आई एम श्योर आपको ये आता होगा. तो व्हाट डू यू सी दिस? हाउ डज अ फाउंडर रीच यू डायरेक्टली, और इज इट नॉट अ राइट एक्सपेक्टेशन, या फिर इसमें कुछ is there merit?
So I'll tell you personally, we also get a fair hundreds of companies probably every month. But if somebody writes to me directly, I do not ignore it. So I think what happens is, I'll tell you a very basic thing. If you are a founder writing to me or any other partner, you have an email. If you found out my email address, not very hard to find. So there's a text of the email and there's an attachment. I think there are ways to write those 5 lines very well. Most people don't get it. Many of them I read, I don't even understand what business they're in, and they have written 4 paragraphs. You have to build excitement. So first you have to tell me what to do. Second, you have to tell me what is so great about what you are doing in this business. Third, you have to tell me what is so great about you in terms of how it relates to this business. Right? These are the 3 or 4 things. It can be written in 5 or 6 lines. But I think we are poor at communication. And not just this, I have also seen that the difference between founders who get funded and not, ceteris paribus, everything being equal, is this. Pitching. And this, not just pitching, this articulation and everything that you communicate. And this is a lifelong delta between these. If you see the trajectory of 2 companies, 2 guys from the same college who are equally capable otherwise, one may be more articulate than the other. You look back 10 years, the articulate guy will be 5 steps ahead of this guy. It's an endemic flaw. So founders should be aware of this and work on it. What are you saying? In 20 seconds, can you capture the attention of somebody? The other is, of course, the common remedy is to reach out to, be smart, map out the LinkedIn, reach out to founders who this VC knows or has invested in. Because then for sure you will be considered more seriously, right? Because see, for the most part, no VC is only interested in one sector. A lot of times you may not have a thesis about exactly what you're doing. And the most interesting companies actually don't fit into any thesis. Airbnb was not in anybody's thesis. So therefore, they are agnostic. मुझे फर्क नहीं पड़ता मैं इस सेक्टर में करूँ, इस सेक्टर अलॉन्ग में 5 सेक्टर में कर रहा हूँ, कोई फर्क नहीं. So your pitch is competing with so many others for the next, and it's all, so you have to figure out a way to break out. Don't like that.
So VC के इन टच आ भी नहीं सकता. The problem is that जो popular thing which I'm reading on Twitter is कि जो layer है analysts की, तो ये feeling आती है कि यार इसने थोड़ी कुछ बनाया है, who is he to judge, right? तो ये feeling
No, you are right. तो क्या करे? तो फिर see, the larger VCs have armies, and their and analysts are divided by sectors. It's their job to cover every deal in the sector. I think partners will give you time. So what you have to do then is you have to create a bit of a persona on social media. Beyond this, they say content marketing. So that when you write to the partner or also write to the analyst, there is some resonance. But this is a fact. And how many you see? I think any VC, they've probably fund less than 1% of the deals that come to them. Sometimes half or even less than that percent. But those are the odds. So what are you going to do? It's like cat train going to the top IIMs, right? 99.8 percentile or whatever. So you have to be in that.
So but then does IIT IIM help in the sense कि आपका क्या thesis है इसके ऊपर?
No.
Well, if you look at the data,
Yeah, of course. A lot of them are from IIT. Some, of course, much more than IIMs, but IIMs have a smaller population also. I think it helps because what happens is you see, one of the things for first-time founders is where do they learn from? How do you learn how to pitch? How do you get the market intelligence? How do you approach a VC? So the IITs obviously have that network. And lesser known colleges do not. They're building. Similarly, some of the stronger IIMs may have those networks. So that is the advantage you get. Not because you are brilliant, but because you get the network. Right? And therefore you are able to land yourself in for hiring and other things. Right? So you have that slight unfair advantage is what I would say. Not because they're inherently superior. So to that extent, they succeed. Of course, some of them may have that additional capability. But I think this is the more important factor.